newstalk.ie. Now I'm joined in studio by Alan, Jordan of Bookbuzz, and each week we're looking at business books to help improve decision making in your boardroom. Morning, Alan.
Hi Ian, how are you?
Not too bad. This week we're looking at What Drucker Would Do Now by Rick Wartzman. And I suppose if anybody who doesn't know who Drucker is, it's Peter Drucker, the management guru. I suppose that's Simon Cowell of his day.
Simon Cowell, very good, Ian. Yes, you're appealing to the Generation Y listenership. Well done. There was great character Kenneth Wilson. He actually won the Nobel Prize for Physics in '82, and his descriptor, Simon Cowell probably wasn't around then, but he was really saying, look, as Newton was to mathematics, Darwin to biology, and Einstein to physics, Drucker is to our understanding of organisations and society. So probably a little bit up there on Simon Cowell, but not a bad opener.
Yeah, I suppose most people, if anybody's ever done business studies, you will have had done a management course, and this is one of the people you'll have to look at. Yeah,
and this is the thing, you see. So Rick Wartzman actually heads up the Drucker Institute, and he writes an article in Business Weekly in the US, and the concept of the book is saying, look, if you look at all the key issues we've had over the past number of years, is Drucker still relevant? And really the answer is yes, he is, because just to tell you a little bit about Drucker's career, first of all, before Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most notorious Austrian, he's actually Austrian, escaped Nazi Germany, came to the US, and has written over 40 business books, so going back to the effective executive, the practice of management, concept of the corporation. So all of his stuff is what we're using now in modern management. In fact, the argument is that really nothing new other than what he has written in all of his tomes is really irrelevant. And part of Drucker, if you look back at it on he was actually asked before he died there in about 2005, he said, look, what's the single greatest thing that modern management has done for society and workers? And he cites that the truly unique contribution of management in the 20th century was the 50-fold increase in the productivity of the manual worker in manufacturing. But now you've got to see what the knowledge worker is going to do.
I mean, our ideas that were developed back in the 1920s and 30s still relevant now, given that the type of corporations around back then are pretty much gone, and most of the businesses would never have been even invented when Drucker was around.
Yeah, you see, and this is one of the things that Drucker, because just as I was talking before I came in there, this is a guy who had foresight. It's amazing the number of economists and people that have hindsight. Actually, Drucker had foresight because he actually coined the phrase knowledge worker when Bill Gates was only 4 years old, when Texas Instruments was just actually putting his first patent on integrated circuitry. So the issue he's saying, look, we're still using old-style management in the knowledge worker economy. So you're still using Taylor and Fordism and scientific management and processes that really need to change.
I suppose, his biggest claim to fame, what was it, and can it still be applied today?
Well, I mean, if you just look at it, it is foresight. First of all, that the knowledge worker, the whole economy is going to change. The way people are going to work is going to change. And if you look at it, he would have also coined that the purpose of business is to serve and create a customer. Well, we hear that all the time now. So we think, oh yeah, that's new. The customer is the most important. This guy was talking back in the 40s and 50s. And if you actually look at just the history of business books, I mean, you can probably go back to, I suppose, The Prince, Machiavelli, Karl Marx, Das Kapital. But business books have only come into their own probably in about the 70s with In Search of Excellence. But this guy's theory on management practice, the art of actually doing it, really hasn't changed. So so what the book is trying to say, look, all of these concepts, we're still applying them. There hasn't been a huge change. And if you're in doubt, actually go back and dip in and see what Drucker has said about specific things that are happening to us now. Yeah,
can it be applied to any of the current situations? Take a Lehman Brothers collapse, take a Toyota motor recall. These are some of the examples given in the book. Yeah, can they really be related?
It is. I mean, if you look at when the executives at Lehman Brothers became really preoccupied with the whole daily stock price and consumed with quarterly earning targets and expense of being good stewards of the business. So really, Drucker, way back in the 70s, was saying, look, the most critical management job is to balance short-term and long-term. So these guys are doing the exact opposite, going for short-term gain. And actually, really, long before holistic became a buzzword, he was talking about the people are your most important asset. They're the key element, driver of business. Just as Brendan was talking about, like the seminar they're having today, what's about? It's about driving profitable growth. I mean, Drucker was using that type of language back in the 40s and 50s.
Should you buy this book or just go out and buy one of Drucker's original titles?
Good quiet point. And actually the book does say, you know what, maybe go back and look at the original Drucker. But if you're not sure about Drucker, you've got to get a bit of a taste for it, give it a go.
Yeah, What Drucker Would Do Next by Rick Wartzman. Alan, next week we're going to have a look back at all the books we've done this year and some of the things you should be reading over Christmas.
Absolutely, and then what you can put in the Christmas stocking.
Alan Jordan from Bookbuzz, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, stock market.